It's not every African leader that is greedy and foolish enough to sell its resources for peanuts. Some of them, such as Ibrahim Traore, are ready to do what it takes to achieve economic independence. So, instead of exporting its major resources, gold, for peanuts, Captain Traore has decided to take the initiative to ban all gold exports and produce its own gold, which it will use to back up its currency. But how did he do this? Let's find out. If you have been following Ibrahim Traore from day one, you would notice that one thing he values above everything else is the sovereignty and complete independence of his country. And since he assumed power, he has taken several actions to place Burkina Faso on the path of complete independence. Aside from kicking out French troops and ending military cooperation with its former colonial master, France, thereby granting military sovereignty to Burkina Faso, Captain Traore has also strived to ensure that Burkina Faso has monetary sovereignty. Like General Tiani once said, money is a sign of sovereignty, and we are engaged in a process of recovering our total sovereignty. You see, just like other countries in Francophone Africa, Burkina Faso has not enjoyed complete monetary sovereignty. Even after independence, France largely controlled the monetary system of these countries. From the currency used to the monetary policies implemented, everything is mostly influenced by France. Burkina Faso and the other countries didn't even have their own central banks. France made it in such a way that they had to depend on the Central Bank of West Africa, which everyone knows is simply an extension of the Bank of France. And let's not forget that Burkina Faso and Francophone countries are required to keep half of their reserves in French banking institutions. However, as we stated earlier, President Traore is determined to liberate his country and his people from the influence of France over its monetary system. And this is why he recently established Burkina Faso's very own Treasury deposit bank. According to the government's official statement, President Traore officially inaugurated Burkina Faso's Treasury deposit bank on Friday, 2nd, 2024 at its headquarters within the public treasury in Kuluba. The establishment of this treasury bank is a bold move that signifies that the country is on a path to reclaiming its monetary sovereignty. By creating this bank, Burkina Faso will no longer have to depend on the Central Bank of West African State, which is a colonial relic, to store its reserves or regulate its monetary and financial system. With this treasury deposit, Burkina Faso will no longer have to deposit 50% of its reserves in a French bank. The Treasury Bank is designed to provide accessible banking services to all citizens with a network extending through regional, provincial, and departmental treasuries to ensure that everyone, regardless of location, can access these services. But that's not all. The Treasury Deposit Bank will also cater to a wider range of clients, including public institutions, state companies, local authorities, international organizations, NGOs, and private businesses. Its primary mission will be to manage the banking functions of the public treasury, offering services like account management, resources collection, and transaction processing. In addition, the Treasury Deposit Bank will introduce digital payment methods and develop innovative banking services to meet the evolving needs of its customers. The fact is that the establishment of the Treasury Deposit Bank empowers Burkina Faso to conduct financial transactions independently, bypassing the need to go through the Central Bank of West African State, thereby eliminating any potential interference from France. Depending on the Central Bank of West African States has allowed European countries such as France, which lacked gold mines, to accumulate gold reserves, which were plundered from African countries, with gold through European gold mining companies. These foreign companies extract vast amounts of gold from Burkina Faso and other African countries blessed with gold resources at a very cheap cost and without giving back to these countries, not even in terms of tax revenues. This is the reason why Captain Traore has taken the initiative to reclaim control over Burkina Faso's gold by banning the export of gold. Gold is Burkina Faso's main export, accounting for 37% of total exports as of 2020, and mining is a leading source of jobs. Now, of all the gold industrially produced in Burkina Faso, artisanal constitutes half of it, with about 1 million people involved in artisanal gold production. However, This has made it easy for terrorists and jihadists to take control of several gold mines, which they use in fueling terrorism in Burkina Faso. As Captain Traore stated in 2022, a lot of gold leaves Burkina fraudulently, and this, moreover, helps to fuel terrorism. The ongoing terrorism has in turn led to the closure of 4 industrial mines and the abandonment of nearly 700 gold panning sites in 2022, which has also led to a reduction in the total output of gold produced in recent times. Therefore, the suspension of gold export is aimed first at cutting a major source of funds for terrorists in the country, and 2, addressing the challenges faced by the mining sector and enhancing its contribution to the country's economic development. However, not only did he ban the export of gold, he also suspended the issuance of export permits to artisanal and semi-mechanized gold and other precious commodities production effective immediately. In simple terms, no gold mined in Burkina Faso would leave the country. According to Traore, this action is necessary so that the mining sector as well as the marketing of gold can be cleaned up and better organized. The interesting thing is that about 10 to 30 tons of gold are mined artisanally in Burkina Faso, and instead of this gold leaving the country, it will remain in Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore is also not delaying in taking action regarding the ban of gold exports and issuance of artisanal mining permits. In the northwest region of Burkina Faso, about 43 gold mining sites have been shut down. But just banning gold exports and not giving out mining permits is not enough, and that is why President Traore launched the construction of the country's first gold refinery. This is a very significant step in gaining control over the country's resources. Located in the capital city, Ouagadougou, the refinery is expected to produce around 400 kilos of gold per day. The refinery, which is developed in partnership with Marina Gold, a local company, will house a jewelry store and the future headquarters of the Société Nationale des Substances Précieuses, which oversees the project on behalf of the state. According to Ismail Sibi, CEO of the refinery's co-managing company Marina Gold, the refinery is projected to produce its first 22-carat gold bars before the end of this year. During the launch of the gold refinery, Traore highlighted the importance of refining gold domestically. He said that with the refinery, Burkina Faso will no longer need to send its gold abroad for refining, and this will ensure that Burkina Faso knows the true value of its gold. It's interesting to note that despite the major role gold plays in the economy of the country, Burkina Faso has struggled to fully control this resource. As pointed out by Traore, majority of the gold extricated leaves the country through fraudulent channels that fuel the activities of jihadists. This move by Captain Traore comes at a time when many countries in Africa are turning to gold as a hedge against currency losses and geopolitical risks. African countries including Nigeria, Uganda, Tanzania, and Madagascar have announced plans to increase their gold reserves and purchase gold domestically as a result of concerns about the U.S. financial system and the weaponization of the dollar. This is in order for these countries to reduce their reliance on the dollar and protect their local currency. Burkina Faso's gold refinery represents a significant step in securing its economic future, enabling the country to retain more of its wealth within its borders and reduce the illicit flow of gold that has been funding violence and instability. The refinery also ensures that Burkina Faso can build its gold reserves, which will be necessary in the long run when it's ready to ditch the CFA franc and launch its own currency. According to recent reports, there are plans being made by the authorities in Burkina Faso to make several innovations to the 2015 mining code updated in July last year. One such innovation is the plan to establish a national gold reserves. According to the information from the Council of Ministers meeting held on March 20, 2024, Burkina Faso plans to ask mining companies to contribute to building the National Gold Reserve. The revised mining code also includes new regulations for marketing gold and other minerals aimed at creating a more structured and regulated industry. So, not only are gold exports banned, companies including those foreign ones are expected to contribute gold to build the national gold reserves. This is brilliant. In addition to this, the new mining code also emphasizes local participation in the mining sector. This means that mining companies are required to open their share capital to the public, thereby enhancing the power of local officials to monitor and control mining activities. Again, this is a brilliant move by Traore, and once again, President Traore has proven that he is worthy of emulation by every African leader. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.